Oh, man. Oh.
Hey there, I have some good news, sportsmen. We got the tape library back from the court. Now, we had to put up $10,000 for this, but it's back on our shelves, open up some opportunities to show you some footage that's unique to me. I'm in all these tapes, basically, but we're going to show you tonight. We intended to show you part one of Nelson Hurst grabbing turtles. Now, we showed this last August, but I know from the ratings that not that many people watch TV in August. We're going to show you part one, part two next week. We have the show ahead with a lot of great stuff. It's our cooking contest night. You stay tuned. I'm Fred Trost with ideas on how you can become a more practical sportsman. Well, here we are for another snapping turtle story, but this time Nelson. You came to me and you said, do you want to catch snapping turtles the right way?
Yes, I did. The way you guys are doing it's not the right way. You got to get back in there and reach around and feel for them.
Okay, but now hold it. The way we were doing it, the way Scott Ponce did it, is we'd watch for a turtle to go down in the pond. We'd see its nose and see it go down. Then we'd go out there and feel for it with sticks, feel with the boots, reach down and find the tail, which was plenty of excitement for the average person.
Yeah, the average person. But I've been doing this about 39 years now, and it's a lot more fun when you reach back there because you don't know if you're going to have a water snake attached to your thumb when you come out or have a muskrat attached. You don't know what you're going to get.
Well, this technique you're talking about, and I didn't realize the creeks were so small. I mean, we got a small farm creek going through here, full of bait fish. Look at them down in there.
Well, the small creeks, I like to hunt the small creeks because you get into the big rivers and you can't reach far enough back in. Now, a lot of guys, I know guys that they'll take a snorkel outfit and reach clear back in and everything.
The deal is, even on a small creek like this, the snapping turtles in the bright sun like this will, be up under the banks?
Well, snapping turtles are a nocturnal animal. They go in head first. Now, every now and then you'll have what we call a feeder, that he turns around and he'll be facing out in order to still get enough to eat. But normally, the bigger turtles are real docile in the water. I've actually run my hand over their open mouth. They fear nothing because once they get up to about the plate size, they have no natural enemies except man. So there's nothing going to hurt them. I can show you what it feels like.
What it feels like. I trust Nelson, my friend.
I'll collect that $50. Stick your hand right on top of mine.
Yeah.
See how that's all?
Oh, that's sandy.
Yep, see how it's all smoothed out like a dish in there, like a deep dish?
Yeah.
He's laid in there.
Yes. I was close to him. I'm on his trail.
Yeah, there's a trick to this.
So
they go in head first, and the chances of getting bit, I've been bit twice in 39 years.
And what was that like? Tell me what that was like.
Well, it hurt.
I bet.
It took the skin from here all the way down and took the fingernail. The whole works just...
Is that because you pulled back when it did?
Yeah, you're not supposed to pull. When he bites, you're supposed to keep your hand there.
Probably
And,
pretty hard to do.
yeah, I don't know too many people that's got that much iron nerve that can just leave it there. You'll jerk on there. So it's...
And that was one time when it did that. What was the other time?
I stuck my hand back in this one, and he had moved and got me with this hand coming in and did the same thing to that finger.
So what do you do to protect yourself against the bites? Anything?
Yeah, when you go and feel, I have a bad habit, and all the hand hunters down in Ohio and Indiana and stuff get after me. I spread my thumb. There's something about being able to push back with your thumb that I like, but you're supposed to keep them shut. Most guys get bit here.
Is that right?
Yeah, off of it, because the turtle he'll hit here.
Well, you know, with all this talk about a snapping turtle being able to break a broomstick, no, that really isn't true.
Everybody says it, and I have yet to see it.
I mean,
I've
otherwise
had them break a pencil, but if they was to break a broom, this is a sport I wouldn't be in because I've caught hundreds of turtles and I still own all my fingers. Well, Fred, this is something you don't normally do, is reach underneath a a blowdown like this or drift bile going downstream with your hand, because most generally they lay, when they come into this, they'll face upstream for some reason. You shouldn't do this. This is, we hope the turtle didn't read the book.
Now, when you find them, you're feeling along the edge. What do you usually encounter first? You find their feet?
It depends upon how you go in. Sometimes you'll just, when you put your hand in, you may go on an angle, and you'll end up right on top of the shell. And it's just like you guys said in the pond, you know, then you've got to reach around and feel for the sharp edges. Most generally, you don't have to, because you know that he went in head first anyways.
Let's see. All right, come on. Oh, yes. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Right behind you?
No,
No.
from this side right
Which
here.
hand?
I don't know which hand.
I know you don't. You have a recommendation. Now, how come you're reaching that way? I'm supposed to reach this way.
Stick right straight down. Go right straight down.
Yeah. Ow! It moved! It moved! Its leg moved! Its leg moved. I don't know if I'm cut out for this.
Come on, right here's the tail.
The tail, maybe it was the tail. I don't know what it was, but it moved. You're guaranteeing me it's not the head.
Right there's the tail.
Oh, okay, okay.
You ready, John?
Ready. Oh, it's just a small one. Oh, I got it. It's a snapper. Oh, jeez, it's a snapper, yes. Oh, well, this was exciting. Oh, it has a leech on its back. Exciting is a good word for it. Scary is another, or maybe hair-raising. This little snapping turtle had a bad attitude, which is often the case. The small turtles are the ones with the worst dispositions. Michigan's turtle regulations require that a snapper be at least 12 inches long from the front of the shell to the back, so this one is much too small to keep. Anybody want to kiss it goodbye? Well, not me, but I'll be glad to let it go. At first, it seemed a little dazed by the experience, not sure if it was going to be hoisted again by the tail, but it was free, and it swimmed off, ready to terrorize more creatures of the stream. Nelson Hurst was a little disappointed by what he said was a slow day of turtle hunting, but late in the afternoon, he finally found a big one. Uh-oh, here we go. Want to see me do something dangerous? Oh, I can only do this with this mounted turtle. Taxidermist Ed Urban from Owasso loaned this to us for display at the museum. Very realistic looking. Next week, you're going to see Nelson Hurst pull one, oh, at least this size, I think even bigger, right from under the banks. Couldn't believe he did it. That's coming up next week. Right now, we're going to go to a story. Next week, we're also having sort of outtakes from recipes. To show you what this is like, here's a sort of outtake that we merged from a recipe to a deer hunting story. We were doing a recipe with the Cafolas, and Bill has a story about his, I don't know if it was opening day or what.
It was the third morning.
Okay, you have not had a long and illustrious history of taking deer.
Right. I've never got one before this year.
So what happened?
Well, it was the third day. I was hunting Fowlerville private land, and it was early in the morning. It was still dark, and I got to my stand, my ground stand, and I was sitting and fidgeting. I had the gun on my lap, and I seen this deer come right in front of me. I mean, 15 feet right in front of me, and he was just stopped.
Big deer?
Well, he was huge, but I didn't know this until just about a minute later. He took one step like he was going to walk towards me, and he put his leg back and stood broadside, and he put his head against the ground. But when he lifted his head straight up in the air, it's like he was listening. I couldn't count all the points. It was huge, and I wasn't ready. He was watching me the whole time through the corner of his eye. So he walked away and never came back. Okay. During the whole part of the day, I was a mess. I went to the wrong mailbox. I almost got into the wrong car when I was at the bank. I was just a total mess.
So it really, you thought you had missed a chance of your lifetime.
Yes, yes. And that night I did take a spike horn. I went out and immediately got another license. And the next day, that afternoon, I seen that deer again, and it was at least a 12 point. I was ready. He was right in front of me, same spot, and my gun did not work. My slugs were bad. All the rest of the slugs I had were bad.
You mean you racked the shell? What was it, a pump gun?
No, it was an
bolt?
automatic. It was an automatic, Savage. And I had the gun up. I was clicking. He was standing broadside. You could have threw a rock and hit him. And I even got a chance to almost eject it, to move it a little bit, and he still stood there looking at me. And he just walked away. And I was glad that I got one, but then again, I would have gladly gave up for the rack.
For the rack is the big one. But now let's do a little defense here on this gun. I mean, Savage has been in business for years and years,
Right.
and back years ago made just excellent guns. And this was an older gun you were using.
Yes, this was a 5-shot automatic Savage Arms. The parts are almost impossible to get. And it was my grandfather's gun. It was given to me, and that's the only reason I didn't get up and let it meet the tree. I was so upset. But I was happy that we had some venison for the table. I was just upset that I've never seen a rack like that close. The spread was unbelievable.
Like how wide? Go ahead.
Well, I'd be exaggerating.
Of
but,
course you would, but I want to
But
see.
it was wide. It was straight up. The points were straight up. They
Oh,
weren't
man.
deformed. It was perfect, broad-chested, proud deer, and I almost cried. You asked my
Well,
wife.
it sounds like you're about to go into it right here.
Well, I try to forget about it because it's like it just happened.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing. And next year I know where I'll be, but I'll buy new slugs. I'll probably have a different gun. And I probably
So
won't
Grandpa's gun is going to go on the wall.
Yes, it's going to go on the wall. It's
But
retired.
that happens for those of you folks who like to use a sentimental gun from somebody in the family that's handed down. The firing pins get worn, little parts get worn, and all of a sudden, at the time you least expect it, is
Right.
the malfunction.
Right. And the reason why I bought the cheaper slug is I thought I'd never see one. I was not confident in deer hunting because I've never got one before.
Oh, boy. Well, good luck
Thank you very much.
on your next season,
Okay.
because you know what to do now,
Yes.
and you have a great place to hunt. I thought I've had bad luck. You thought you've had bad luck? Well, I don't know. What a story. You know, that just popped up while we were taping recipes here for the Practical Sportsman. We're going to have a whole show next week of what I call sort of outtakes, things like that, some hysterical things that popped up during recipes. And you caught this in October, so you must have been up there musky fishing.
Yeah, I was up there musky fishing, using jerk baits and spinners.
How many fish do you catch in a day?
With northern, probably 6.
And with
Not
musky?
musky.
Not much with musky?
Couple a week.
Couple a week.
Yeah.
Huh. Are they usually big, though?
No, not all of them. I average one big one a trip
And how long is your trips?
a week.
A week. Well, very good. Well, this is in October. Get you back in time for bow season.